What is going on with Hollow Knight Silksong's release date? Because I need it, biblically. By some cruel twist of fate on April Fool's Day 2025, Hollow Knight Silksong got an official page on the Xbox Store, which threw my heart into disarray as I didn't dare to hope that it wasn't a big joke. But I should have had more faith in Team Cherry, because the store page is legit. However, I have good reason to eye Hollow Knight Silksong warily. It's been fickle, positively fuckboy-ish, teasing us with snatches, and I really do mean snatches, as in seconds or screens, of new gameplay. Just recently, IGN broke the news that Hollow Knight Silksong will be playable in an Australian museum in September 2025. Visit Australia's National Museum of Screen Culture from September the 18th, and you're in for a chance to play Hollow Knight Silksong, as it's part of a video game exhibition titled Game Worlds, which alongside a gameplay demo will also include displays that delve into the game's design and artistic direction. The co-curators Bethan Johnson and Ginny Maxwell revealed what exactly will be in situ, from the hundreds of sprites that animate Hornet's different movements and attacks to the logic behind the game's most challenging boss fights, and of course having the game playable in gallery. Our Silksong displays delve deeply into the details of the game's artistic direction and design. As part of the announcement, the museum shared a sprite sheet from Silksong. Hornet's running, walking, fighting, and checking her map sprites can be seen, not in motion, though if you look through them really quickly, you can create your own ocular Zoe trope. Another one of these glimpses of Hollow Knight Silksong came from the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Seeing Hornet stab her way through the screen confirmed two things. First, that Silksong is releasing on the Switch 2, and second, that it surely must have a launch date of 2025. It doesn't narrow down that date at all, but at least confirms that the game remains on the way. In response to the surge of excitement around Silksong after seeing it in the Direct, Team Cherry's Matthew Griffin, in charge of PR and marketing, stated that Hollow Knight Silksong is real, progressing, and will release. Quite a telling confirmation. To come out and reassure people that we haven't imagined it, Silksong is real and is definitely going to come out, is a rare event in the games industry, because it's been so long since Silksong has been announced that yes, people are worried if we're ever going to get to play Hollow Knight Silksong. It's somehow been 6 years since anyone, as far as we know, last got hands-on with Hollow Knight Silksong. Eurogamer first got hands-on with it way back on the 18th of October 2019. That was also the last time the official blog was updated. Then, in 2021, an NPC named the Huntress was revealed. This year, 2025, if you're watching this in 2026 and we still haven't got Hollow Knight Silksong, I am so sorry. Xbox listed the game in an Xbox Wire post focused on its lineup of indie games. And while an ARG on the release date was debunked at the start of the year, there was confirmation that it's not a Switch 2 exclusive and will be released across both Switch 2 and the original Switch. After seeing Hollow Knight Silksong in the Switch 2 reveal stream, some fans presumed that this meant the game was a Switch 2 exclusive, but Team Cherry's marketing boss Matthew Griffin confirmed on social media that Hollow Knight Silksong is coming to both Switch consoles. We are being fed crumbs about Hollow Knight Silksong, but hey, they're a feast compared to the dust we got in the previous 6 years. The Japanese Nintendo site published some new screenshots of the game showing inset protagonist Hornet in action shortly after the Switch 2 Direct. But why is Hollow Knight Silksong, with its initial release date of June 2023, taking so long to get into our grubby palps? Those are insect hands found around their mouth, because insects, turns out, don't have hands. In May 2023, Matthew Griffin revealed that development was still continuing, and the team wanted to take the time to make the game as good as they can. That game that they're trying to make as good as they can is quite tellingly described by Griffin as having gotten quite big. One of the prevailing theories, game theories you could say, is that Hollow Knight Silksong has been subjected to a phenomenon called feature creep. I am not advocating for less content in Hollow Knight Silksong. Let me just make that completely clear. We good? Good. Feature creep, also known as scope creep, is when a game is continuously worked on without a fixed end date in mind. So there's no cutoff date, no deadline that the game needs to be ready by. For creators and creatives, this is the dream. No pressure, paired with funding, means that Team Cherry can work on Hollow Knight Silksong without a release date looming on the horizon and in their minds. So, the scope of elements they want to include becomes less a want to and more a can do. Great, right? Yes, this is a good thing. In the year of our Lord 2025, creatives getting free reign to do what they want is a beautiful thing, and I don't want any slander in the comments about this. We still good? Good. Silksong started as a DLC for Hollow Knight, but it grew so big that Team Cherry turned it into an entire sequel. Scope creep is part of how Team Cherry works, and is also part of how William Pellin, the co-director of Team Cherry, works, as history has proved. Before Silksong and before Hollow Knight was Lulander. William Pellin devoted his time to creating Lulander, but admitted himself that he only stopped working on it because the engine he was using to make it, Stencil, wasn't, quote, designed to make large-scale games, so he's going to be changing engines. Stencil is meant for making small browser-based games, and so couldn't handle the largesse of Lulander. The game is actually still on William's Newgrounds if you want to give it a try. This isn't meant to ascribe anything approaching blame to William for Silksong taking a long time to come out. I'm just showing that there is a pattern of scope creep in his work, and now he's co-director of Team Cherry, congratulations, it makes sense that it's affected how the developers operate. Look, it resulted in an incredible game in Hollow Knight, but also, as with any other creative work, it's good to have an endpoint in mind, otherwise you can spend ages working on anything, really, and your expectations balloon into something totally unmanageable. Because if you can work on it as long as you want, then there's no excuse for it not to be perfect. That's what the Mind Beetles will tell you, and for Team Cherry, the pressure that's on Silksong is hard to underestimate, especially because the release date has been pushed back. Concessions have already been made to account for Silksong's increasing scope, with the release date being pushed back at least once, that we know of. As these concessions are made and Team Cherry are given more time to work on it, I would assume that the pressure on Silksong's shoulders increases. This is the sequel to the beloved, critically acclaimed Hollow Knight, winner of multiple awards, considered one of the best games of all time, sold an estimated 21.8 million copies across both Steam and Switch and all the other consoles. Forget big shoes to fill, even taking into account how many legs insects have. This is a big suit of armour, cloak, arming cap, gambeson and all to fill. The success, and to be frank, profit made from Hollow Knight means that expectations for Silksong must be high. Very high. Granted, Hollow Knight was a Kickstarter project which comes with its own pressures, as you are directly accountable to those who fund you, but I'm betting that Silksong has a lot more signed contracts and share options and industry investment than Hollow Knight ever did. And with more time granted to work on Silksong, which again isn't a bad thing in isolation, there is the risk that in the heads of those at Team Cherry there's, air quotations, no excuse for Silksong not to be solid gold, 5 stars, perfect 100 Metacritic score, overwhelmingly positive on Steam, changed people's lives, when really that's a terrifying amount of pressure to put on oneself. Perfect is the enemy of good. I'm sure those of you watching this have had similar moments. You can keep working on something, a painting, a piece of writing, a storyline in D&D, forever, but at a certain point you have to finish it and move on to something else, or you'll be stuck in this paralysing fear of it not being good enough, and maybe you could get it there if you just kept tweaking at it. This is where I fear Team Cherry's collective mind is at. In addition to my speculation about why Silksong could be taking so long, there's also the practical fact that Hollow Knight Silksong is releasing on 10 platforms. Switch, Switch 2, Linux, PC, macOS, Xbox Series X, PS5, PS4, Windows, and Xbox One. Considering this is difficult for large developers to finesse for a single release date, we've all seen those massive day one patches, Team Cherry's comparatively small team have their work cut out for them. Remember, it took an extra year for Team Cherry to port Hollow Knight from PC to Switch, Xbox and PlayStation, so work that into Silksong's development time and yikes. But now I'm getting near the end of the video, so I need to remind myself and all of you what we know about Silksong's gameplay so far to reassert that yes, it is most definitely worth the wait. We're finally going to get to play as the iconic acrobatic Hornet with her needle and thread, crimson armour, horned pointy head, and just look at her move. A new quest system is dawning that is intriguingly made of 4 segments: Gather, Wayfarer, Hunt, and Grand Hunt, which you can extrapolate vague subjects from, and yet they still sound enigmatic, just what I'd expect from a Hollow Knight sequel. Within the world of Silksong, there's a minimum of 165 new enemies and over 100 different checkpoints/benches, which is double that in Hollow Knight. So the world must be gigantic. Like the ravenous creatures Hornet is going to face, Silksong is going to consume all of our lives when it comes out, and I cannot wait, though I do have to, because we don't have a confirmed release date, and unless Silksong has been shadow dropped 3 minutes after this video goes live, in which case why the hell are you still watching me go and play the game, waiting is a part of that. So that's what's going on with Hollow Knight Silksong and what we know about it so far. Are there any important details I've missed? Let me know in the comments below, and I'm about to start replaying Hollow Knight, so drop your favourite character in the comments too so I can keep an eye out for them. If this video told you something new, or you just enjoyed seeing our beloved Hornet stab her way through the screen, please do chuck this video a like and subscribe to Eurogamer for new videos about video games almost every single day. Now, I am gonna go and free the grubs, so I will see you folks next time.